大家好，今天是2025年7月的上半月，我们来看一下最近全球人工智能的5则新闻速报。
After investing $14.3 billion in xAI, Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg is restructuring the company's AI efforts to center around building AI superintelligence, which was vaguely defined as systems that can complete tasks as well as or even better than humans. The restructuring makes it clear that Zuckerberg is throwing money towards winning the race for artificial general intelligence by gobbling up AI companies and poaching talent from top AI firms at high prices. Bloomberg viewed an internal memo from Meta that said their AI efforts will now fall under Meta Superintelligence Labs and will be led by Alexander Wang, founder of xAI, which is a controversial data labeling startup that employed human labelers through a reportedly exploitative gig work structure. The youngest self-made billionaire has also taken a public stance against DEI. The memo also stated that Meta will spend hundreds of billions of dollars on their AI projects. It said, quote, "I believe this will be the beginning of a new era for humanity, and I am fully committed to doing what it takes for Meta to lead the way."
Project Rainier, an AI supercomputer set to become one of the largest distributed compute clusters in the world, aiming for 5 times the power of current systems. Their $8 billion partnership with Anthropic secures Amazon as the cloud provider for Claude and gives AWS customers access to cutting-edge AI tech.
CNBC starts us off today. Google looks likely to lose appeal against record $4.7 billion EU fine. Google suffered a setback Thursday after an advisory to the European Union's top court recommended it dismiss the tech giant's appeal against a record €4.1 billion or $4.7 billion antitrust fine. Julian Somebody, Advocate General to the European Court of Justice, advised the court throw out Google's appeal and confirm the fine, which was reduced in 2022 to €4.125 billion from €4.34 billion previously by the EU's General Court. In her opinion delivered today, Advocate General whatever that name is, proposes that the Court of Justice dismiss Google's appeal and therefore uphold the judgment of the General Court, the Luxembourg-based ECJ said in a press release on Thursday. And the EU has been really coming after big tech companies in recent years, basically claiming that a large majority of them are monopolies, or at least exploit their size and power, and in doing so commit antitrust law violations. And in this instance, they're going after Google for Google favoring their own apps, like phone applications, on their Android phone devices, and using that power they have over the Android operating system, which Google owns, to stop other companies from being able to pre-install their apps. And this is pretty significant because the Android operating system is absolutely huge. If you don't have an iPhone, then probably the chances are that you use an Android operating system. But this ruling points to an interesting pattern of the EU coming after these big tech companies for alleged antitrust violations. Microsoft was investigated not too long ago. Microsoft seeks to placate EU with pledges to unbundle Teams and Office for basically their Office 365 platform. It was actually the company Slack that alleged that Microsoft, by bundling all of this together into the computers that they own, because, Microsoft runs most all computers aside from Apple computers, no other messaging software, according to Slack, would ever be able to compete. So Microsoft was just squashing all potential competition before they ever even became competitive. Amazon has also been investigated in the EU. Amazon avoids multi-billion-dollar fine as it reached EU antitrust settlement. And this was over claims of unfair practice because it was both the marketplace, Amazon.com, but also a seller on that same marketplace in the form of Amazon Basics, and it used that to its advantage to take customers from competitors to benefit themselves. And Apple was actually more than just investigated. Apple was fined. Apple and Meta attack unfair $700 million EU fine. And this was over a very similar instance to what we're talking about right now with Google, where they claimed that Apple was using their App Store dominance to harm competition, and other tech companies were unable to do things or compete or keep up with Apple as a company because they could only exist if they went through the App Store. And that meant that they had to do whatever Apple wanted, no matter what it was. There are a lot of other instances of this happening, but you get the idea. Big tech companies build up these products and services like the Android operating system that use their customer base to then abuse other companies that rely on those services in order to survive. Imagine if you're Spotify or some other gaming app that's available on Android and iPhone. Well, if Android decides that your rates have doubled or they want to take 50% of every in-app purchase, well, then your only choices are 1, just to do it and suck it up, or 2, to just be obliterated from the App Store entirely. You have no recourse or power.
Will Google meaningfully extend the human lifespan? A quick summary of the article is that Isomorphic Labs is a London-based startup born from the goal to commercialize Google's DeepMind AlphaFold technology. Now, the AlphaFold technology predicts protein structures with a high level of accuracy. Isomorphic's lab is applying this breakthrough to drug discovery to increase success rates while lowering costs and risks. And if you weren't aware, AlphaFold won the Nobel Prize in 2024 for their AI, which is able to predict proteins. Colin Murdoch, who is the Isomorphics Lab president and the Google DeepMind chief business officer, says they are creating a world-class drug design engine by pairing human experts and AI. Now, I find this hybrid approach to be very interesting because it's bringing the strength of both humans and AIs together. It's not just solely relying on AI. And in fact, this approach, in my opinion, increases the value of expertise. So whatever your expertise is, make sure you're pairing that with AI. A few milestones in 2024, Isomorphic Labs signed an agreement with Novartis and Eli Lilly, and in 2025 raised $600 million. Their ultimate goal is to identify a new disease and have an AI pipeline which, at the click of a button, is able to provide a cure, a drug for that disease. Now, my comments and reaction on this article and just the whole AlphaFold technology is that it's really interesting to see Google applying AI to not just content generation or writing books or LLMs as we typically see them. They're focusing these breakthroughs on solving real-world problems. Now, a disease affecting quality of human life is definitely a problem. So for Google to be directly applying this technology, research funding to it, it makes me wonder if all of these discoveries could lead to, immortality.
The world's richest man confirms he's shipping an entire power plant across the globe here to Memphis. Good evening to you. I'm Joy Redman. Elon Musk says it takes too long to build a facility in the U.S., so he's fast-tracking the project to power up his supercomputer. Action News 5's Joyce Peterson live now with the concerns this rare rush job raises. Joyce.
Yeah, Joy, Elon Musk is kicking his xAI project into high gear. At the same time, the search for the person who would lead the air permitting process for this new power plant stalls out. Elon Musk's one-word post to X, accurate, confirms his plan to buy a power plant overseas and ship it to Memphis to provide additional energy to run his supercomputer Colossus. In the South Memphis neighborhood near the xAI facility,
it just don't make no sense.
Tony Crutcher worries about the environmental impact of the new power plant. Just last week, the Shelby County Health Department granted xAI's air permit for 15 natural gas turbines. And MCAP, Memphis Community Against Pollution, announced a $250,000 air quality monitoring program after accusing Musk and xAI of violating clean air regulations.
Can we breathe? Just like somebody said, he can go to Mars. We can't go anywhere. We just right here.
But neighbor Terry Davis welcomes xAI and the fast development.
Actually, we're getting ready to go to another generation. These computers we're getting ready to need. Things are getting ready to happen. The world is moving.
xAI's chatbot, Grok, filled in the details. The company's buying a natural gas combined cycle gas turbine power plant shipped from overseas because of U.S. delays. Specific seller and origin, not yet public. State officials tell Action News 5 the Shelby County Health Department would be responsible for the air permitting process of the new plant.
I don't think that this bodes well for us.
Activist and pastor Dr. Earl Fisher says Shelby County Mayor Lee Harris should name a permanent replacement for Health Department Director director, Dr. Michelle Taylor, who's leaving August 1st for a new job. Harris says he's leaving it up to the next mayor, who won't be elected until next year.
Yeah, and I think time is of the essence. I think it's a little bit too crucial for people to pass the buck. I don't think, Mayor Harris or anybody else has the luxury of saying, get somebody else to do it. I think all of us have to do what we can right now.